Is this thing on? Yep. Hey everybody, welcome back to my next live stream of Train Simulator. As you know, today is it's a special live stream for tonight, because this is the RAF 100 Gala that I planned right here on the Mid-Hants Railway. And as you notice here, I'm driving Battle of Britain class Pacific 92 Squadron. Now let me just unpause here for a bit. Let's see. Ah yeah. Just configure it for servicing and for its journey along the line. Figured while we're waiting for the off, we'll have a quick round Alresford station itself. And mind you, I've never even been there on the Mid-Hants. Now, as you can see here, I've got a couple of engines right here in storage. Got the BR standard tank loco 80150 and the rebuilt Battle of Britain class Sir Frederick Pyle. I've got that from the BR tank enhancement pack from Steam. Now both of them are from Steam Sound Supreme, them locomotives. And those coaches right here are the ones from Armstrong Powerhouse, the extra traction ones. Now this is the locomotive I've seen in real life, on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway for the RAF Gala that they had. We've got one person watching, which is me. Doesn't she look? She look like magnificent in her malachite green. Pretty sure you can call it a malachite green. Okay, got the reverse up to about 65%, which should be enough to get the train moving. Okay, and just like I did on my NRM Gala last year, just have to get this good shot of this locomotive. Oh yeah, I need to release the brakes for the off. God, she really does go well with the coaches. Now, this engine is actually part of the Light Pacifics designed by Oliver Bulleys. There's the West Country class and the Battle of Britons. I don't know how well you can hear me over this, but you get what I mean. Now, the Watercress line is often an ideal place to see Bullet Pacifics in action. I think I'll probably return there after a journey up to Alton. Yeah, let's hop onto the footplate and see what it's like. Now this is a footplate of the Light Pacifics. As you know, I've been on the actual footplate of 92 Squadron when I was up at Gromont. I mean, I was queuing up to go on it though. Mind you, I don't have to ask the crew if I'm queuing up. If I'm in a line of people wanting to go on the footplate, like I do in railway events like Railfest, and sometimes when I go to galas at the National Railway Museum locomotion site at Shildon, up in County Durham. Mind you, you know, last year I used 92 Squadron for my Summer Steam Gala, along with like Britannia, Duchess of Sutherland, Tornado, as well as a B1, which can be found on the North Norfolk Railway. Now let's hear the magnificent chuff of this Light Pacific. Now about these Light Pacifics, they're kind of like similar to Bullett's earlier merchant navies, but these engines were actually designed for routes that demanded a lighter axle loading. a total of 66 of these were built between 1945 and 1950. And 92 Squadron here is usually based on the Nene Valley Railway at Peterborough. You know, as you go out, you know, as you go south of Peterborough on the East Coast Main Line, and if you cross the River Nene, you'll find like Peterborough Nene Valley around the edge of River Nene. Or if you can also pass that if you're going up north to, like, you know, Doncaster, York, Leeds, Newcastle, and Edinburgh. Now this is actually like one. This is actually the 4th Battle of Britain Pacific I've seen. First being Winston Churchill from the National Railway Museum, and the others being like Tangmere. I first saw Tangmere when I was going down to London one time about a decade ago. And the other one I've seen was Manston, where it also visited the North Yorkshire Moors Railway for the Autumn Steam Gala. And now I've seen 92 Squadron on the RAF Gala, which I'm doing right now, right here. Not to mention I've seen a few West Country Pacific, like I've seen Blackmore Vale at Railfest, which is in the same colour scheme as this one, but with the Southern logo on the tender. And what else have I seen? Oh yeah, I've also seen City of Wales last year, which I've been on when I went to the East Lancashire Railway. It was actually like a substitute because I was meant to go on Union of South Africa, but she actually failed the day before due to a problem with its firebox. Oh, because notice here it's got the automatic warning system right here. Despite that this engine doesn't have a mainline certificate, but luckily its sister engine, Tangmere, does. Although I think Tangmere is presently undergoing repairs at Carnforth. It's going to be a tough challenge here, keeping this engine up at 25 miles per hour on the preserved line. That was never the problem with LaserJet when he drove in the 9F 922 trail that we will see in a few moments' time as we head into Ropley. Let's see how we do. Yeah, and again I'm using my iPad to monitor my live streaming, because I don't have another monitor for this. I don't know how you keep locomotives at 25 miles per hour on heritage lines. Oh. And again, I'm wearing my engine driver's cap again for this live stream. You know I only wear this when I'm driving steam trains on Train Simulator, like we see here on heritage lines and also on mainline excursions. Okay, that is one of the tracks I've used, you may remember, when I drove Duchess of Hamilton, Mallard and Flying Scotsman up there last year on my NRM Gala. I need to check what we're doing frame rate wise. Yeah, we're doing a little bit of stutter. That's one of the things about Train Simulator is it's trying to load in the tiles of objects ahead of the train. I think I'll shut the throttle down as we get into Ropley Station, or Ropley, whatever you want to call it. I think this is where we can get into Ropley Station. Notice I got it up to platform 2. It means I'm going on the wrong side of the track. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really as we go along. You notice I sound the whistle to let everybody know that I'm coming. should be enough. Just excuse me for a moment to get on, so I can get on with the work. Oh, that shouldn't be too much of a bother. Here's Ropley, and there's the engine sheds over there. Thought I might have a quick look around as soon as we're unloading and loading the passengers off. For that. Got a bit of a wheel slip, but that doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, I need to set the points from our journey up to Alton. Let's see it. Ah, yeah. Now this is the engine sheds where locomotives are restored and repaired. And you notice here there's a school's class locomotive Cheltenham, which is again owned by the National Railway Museum. And here's another Battle of Britain class 257 Squadron, which can normally residing on the Swanage Railway. I've got that in as a standby, and that here is none other than 92212, a 9F210. Now, believe it or not, this is the same exact locomotive that Laserjet drove in real life. I mean, you should have seen what he did. I mean, I know he did like the shoveling up to like what was it again? I'll have a look on the map. Oh, it's Medstead 4 marks. That was it. And I believe on the way back he had to drive the locomotive back home. I mean, can you believe that, eh? Driving a locomotive tender first on the return journey. That's something I'll probably be doing as soon as we get to Alton. Let's see here. I think we've got the passengers on and off alright. And so anyway, let's continue our journey. Of course, some of these people watching the engine. God, you can see Cheltenham here is in like a post-war malachite green. I think that's the first schools class I've seen. The other being was Bittern on the North Yorkshire moors. And you can tell 92 Squadron and 257 Squadron look exactly the same, but just in a different style of green. I only got 257 Squadron here as a standby in case if his engine breaks down. And again, the Watercress line is ideal to see these Bullet Pacifics in action. I believe it has two unrebuilt Light Pacifics, which are Wadebridge and Swanage. Yes, that's Bittern support cursor I've got over there. That we'll see Bittern in a minute. But you can notice here there's a diesel locomotive that I got right here, you know, just in storage. It's like what the mid-hands actually have. That right over there, you can see here. If I could just go into a free roam. this here is the A4 locomotive Bittern that I drove on them, and also drove my for my Malad 80 celebrations down to London. And as you know, I got that down to like 90 miles per hour in some sections, just like what the real Bittern did 5 years ago. And this here is 71396, which is a 5MT460. The unique fact about this locomotive is it suffered a cylinder blowout one time, during a spring gala. I don't know what the cause is, but you get what you might research about that and let me know. And there's 45379, which is a Black 5, which is currently out of operation at the moment. But I guess you don't want me to babble on about locomotives anyway. Let's just focus on getting up there to like Alton. With our next stop, which is Mediterranean 4 marks. Maybe getting that wrong, but oh, got a bit of a wheel slip here. I don't want to have a repeat of what happened with Blue Peter in Durham. I'm not entirely sure if I should reenact the Blue Peter wheel slip here on Train Simulator. Even it means I have to watch the real life video footage of that, as research. I mean, to be fair, I've never driven a Bullet Pacific on the Heritage Railway before. Sure, I've driven like Swanage on this line one occasion, as well as Tangmere on the main line. There we go, got the sanders on, to prevent the wheels from slipping. Now we've got 2 people watching. Well, one which is me, because I'm monitoring the live stream, like I already mentioned before. Ah, here we go. Now I've got this right. Let's check. Let's go back into the cab and see how we've done the reverser. Oh, rats. That's the thing about these light Pacifics here on Train Sim, is they have a tendency to wheel slip. Did you know Sir Frederick Powell there was a rebuild example? Well, because many of these Southern Pacifics were like rebuilt by British Railways. Well, because with the air smooth casing, I think that people had like difficulty in maintaining the engine. I mean, sure the public was impressed by it, but for the people who worked on the unrebuilt Pacifics, well, they were less impressed. Because if you look around here, there's nowhere to stand. Because you have to build like ladders, or you take this air smooth casing off and putting it back on. It's just like the example with the Princess Coronations or Duchesses. Like if you go to the National Railway Museum in York, you'll probably get the idea of it when you see Duchess of Hamilton. I think that should be enough. Oh, there's a whistle board right there like we got on most heritage lines. And also on the main line with our modern trains. As well as mainline registered locomotives as well. Ah, I'm speeding. Wait a minute, let me just check. Oopsie. Got a small ejector on the whole time. What I was aboard there is basically for the return journey down to Oxford. Here it is. Met Stadium 4 marks. Not that far off now. Let's hope all goes well on the return journey. And like what happened with Oliver Cromwell, my 1968 50th anniversary event. Well, that was a previous live stream that I did. It's not often I do these live streams. What platform are we going to arrive in? Well, we're having a platform 1. Even I didn't know that Mid-Hants Railway had AWS ramps. Not pretty sure they have them in real life, but put a comment in the live chat or the comment section if you believe they do. Looks like everything's going well. We're coming into Met Stadium 4 marks. There's not a lot to do not a lot to see over there, but after that it's downhill to Alton. I'm slowly gliding into Met Stadium 4 marks. A little bit of power on just to get her into the station. You know, that's just to get the whole train onto the platform. I'm pretty sure if I have a quick time to have a look around. There we go, got to a nice gentle stop. Now let's unload the passengers again for a journey down to Alton. And nearly took up the entire platform. Mind you, if you're operating a 3 or 4 coach train on this line, it will probably take up the entire platform. Oh, that's one of the places where steam locomotives come on low loader, like what we saw in Alsford. The ones that aren't registered for the main line. Mind you, at Ultron there's a line that connects to the main line. It's mainly for locomotives that are mainline certified, like the A4s, like Gresley and Bittern, as well as Flying Scotsman and Black Fives, for instance, and Tornado. Whoop. Whoops, again. Here we go, nice to get it up and rolling again. Like, rolling, wheels keep on rolling. Good job it's not money reference, like what Mr. Krabs did in that episode of SpongeBob. And also, you know, I watched Casualty recently. And I'm not going to tell you what the storyline of the episode I watched, but mind you, I've watched Casualty since I was young, been as long as I can remember. Excuse me about that. Now I better check the map to see where we are. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I need to adjust the points for approaching to Alton. Oh, you notice here that we're going downhill, which means the regulator is no longer needed, and the shuffling is no longer required. We have to rely on the brakes to maintain control of the speed. Because the last thing you really want here is a runaway train. I'll just let the train coast downhill, just until we get to Alton. What's this? No heritage railways around the UK don't have AWS ramps. Only they have mainline links to connection with the NY Mart. Oh, thank you, Tom Wood. I was wondering about that anyway. Just listen to that beat when coasting. This is a lot different than coasting in a car. Well, I can't. If you're coasting in the car, it's best not to do that when going around tight corners, especially around junctions. I mean, can you imagine if you did this in a car when going downhill? It means you have to rely on the brakes to do that. The last thing we want is an accident or a casualty. we should be getting close there. Close to Alton by now. Excuse me for being quiet, I really need to focus on controlling the locomotive and train. Oh, you should know at Alton I've got two modern trains over there. And we will have a quick look. Oh, excuse me. I just burped. Okay, I can tell we're getting close to Alton. Yeah, now close to Alton. Hey, you can see a football field over there. Topped by the goalies over there. I don't mean like the goalies like guarding the goal nets. Well, goalies are people who like guard the goals from. They keep the other team from scoring. I mean, I'm not much of a. I mean, come on, you know, I'm not a footballer. I mean, I used to do football when I was in school, even though I was not good at. You get what I mean? Oh yeah, one thing that reminds me. Oh, come on. Let's change points at Alton, just in case if I don't fit the coaches onto the Alton platform. You can see everything around here, like the roads and the cars. Okay, now that we've gone out of this downhill, let's get the locomotive back up to full power. I mean, I don't mean like full power all the way. It's giving it a little bit of power. I mean, all of these houses near the railway line, Can you imagine living on one of them next to this line? I mean, try living on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. Or the West Somerset of the Great Central. Oh, just before we were level. I mean, don't let these gradients fool you when driving trains. And they can impair your ability to accelerate. Even if you're going uphill. And they can make your train go faster when you haven't got enough power to, you know, keep the train going. Sorry about that, my lights just went off. Well, that's because it's on a timer. That's one way to save energy. There we are. We can tell we're not that far off to Alton. There it is. You can see it in the distance. Alton itself. There's the trains that I mentioned earlier. Let's see here. Oh yeah. I've got permission to pass the signal of danger. Well, normally you have to stop at a signal when it's on red. Since I got permission to pass that danger, highly to accept. Yep, that's Alton over there that you may remember from my NRM galas. I'll have a quick look at these trains as soon as we've stopped. Yeah, notice here I got them in the Southwestern Railway colours, which is the train operating company operating these trains at the moment. How many coaches have I got? I think I got about 6 coaches. That should be enough. Anyway, I thought while we're unloading the passengers off, I think I'll have a quick look at these Southwestern trains. Yeah, so I've got the class 444 and the class 450 right here at Alton on the scheduled timetable service. That comes from. Although you need the class 444 add-on for this to work. And as for this one, well, you need the Portsmouth Direct Line add-on for this to work as well. Yep. This is like the mainline section of Alton, and that's the Midhand section of Alton. Feel like I'm in rhythm, aren't I? Now let's see, let's have a quick look. wonder if there are any toilets around Alton. Still, it should be against the law to not have toilets in public places. Let's see, how do I get this light engine? Let's see, nope. Ah, this should do it. This is the light engine configuration. Just uncoupling it up, for the return trip back to Alton. I don't know if we have time to watch these two go off, or one of them go off. I believe people, when they come to to Alton Station on a modern train, they'll sometimes see these steam engines turning round for the return trip. If they want to catch a train down to like Wapley or Alresford on a steam train. Yeah, I got some brake vans there in storage, for like demonstration runs for freight trains. That's taken care of. Let's switch points. And that's how you handle the reversal on the Bully Pacific. Gee, I don't know what's going on here. Well, let's see how the return journey plans out, eh? I mean, I certainly wouldn't mind 92 Squadron at the NRM at York if it comes my way. Hang on just a minute. Ah, there we go. And again, just like with Oliver Cromwell, I might be really careful. Might save just in case if I mess this up. I mean, look what happened last time with Oliver Cromwell. very delicate, you know, touching the locomotive to the coaches. There's one wrong move and you may have damaged the entirety of the rolling stock. Oh! Well... what would you make of this, eh? I think we've got plenty of time. Let's configure the locomotive for the return journey back to Alton. I think we better load the passengers back on. While we admire these modern trains. I mean, how would you compare that, eh? Heritage and modern. That's sometimes the case when we see steam locomotives on the main line. I think we'll watch one of these go off anyway. I think this should be going off any minute now. Yep. Got this trains running on the real life timetables. But I don't know if how you configure them for like. How do you like set them up for like to match their real life counterparts? Setting this off to like, you know, Waterloo Station. If you remember, Waterloo Station was like also the international hub for Eurostar services, which they now operate from St. Pancras International, and all the way down to Paris. Anyway, I think this one will have to wait for its scheduled departure time. While we wait for it, and yep, we're now heading back to Alsford. Oh yeah, as you know, a few months ago I did the RAF 100 service with a Class 91 locomotive, a Battle of Britain Memorial flight. The reason why I chose it is because it has three airplanes that used to be in the used to serve the RAF, you know, like the Spitfire, and the Hurricane, and the Lancaster bomber. There were planes that helped us out during the war, in World War II. I mean, sure, we beat the Germans, and the Yanks defeated us. I mean, sure, the Yanks did beat us on Independence Day, which is often celebrated on the 4th of July. But what the heck, eh? No one can take that effort away from the Americans. Okay, this is going to be awkward when you're driving the locomotive tender first. We better see how this turns out. Oh, you can see that's a siding to restore rolling stock, which I haven't got there at the moment, like coaches or locomotives. I think as soon as we get out there, we'll be back up to 25 miles per hour. Let's check my speed out to see what speed we're at. Shows we're at 10 miles per hour. I don't mean speedos as in like a swimwear. I meant the speedometer. Or you can call it speedo for short. Whoops. Oh, dear me. Oh, burped again. Come on, I can't help it. Now you have to alter, we have to deal with the uphill gradient. But I never had a problem with this. I'm going downhill. There's a downhill gradient as we get into like Ropley and Alsford. That, eh? How cool is that, eh? Oh yeah, the whistles right over there, you know where the safety valves are. Now I think they were like repositioned when most of them were being rebuilt. You may notice already that the uphill gradient is aiding us to slow our speed down, which means we don't need the brakes for it at the moment. In the meantime, I can relax. Well, I can bring the speed back up if it goes too slow, like so. I think that's a position you sometimes get on the Swanage Railway with like 257 Squadron that we saw earlier and Manston. Despite the fact that I've never been to the Swanage Railway, another ideal place to see Bully Pacifics in action. I think I better set the points for Mediterranean 4 marks. Since we've already arrived at platform 1, thought we might arrive back there on platform 2. But we'll see how this turns out. I mean, sorry if the trees are in the way as well as the fences and bushes. I mean, sometimes you can never get a good view of these locomotives in action, especially when filming them. See what I mean? Okay, let's check. Okay, I think we're doing fine right at the moment. I think I'll keep the regulator on at 45%. I think I might see 92 Squadron again if I get a chance to visit the Nene Valley Railway. I think it's also the only Bullet Pacific I've seen in action in this livery. I know the other one I've seen was Blackmore Vale, which was also in this livery, but I've only seen it one time, a couple of times when it was at York. But I know I was getting ready. I saw it one time at Railfest back in 2004, which was to celebrate 200 years of the railways. Although Blackmore Vale is normally resident on the Bluebell Railway in Sussex. Although I think it's currently awaiting overhaul at the moment. Whoopsie. I don't know why I keep saying oopsie every time something goes wrong. I think that shouldn't bother us at the moment. Or not. Go, arriving back at Maidstone 4 marks. Need to drop off our passengers. I'll pick some of them up. And after that, it's downhill down to Ropley and Alsford. Again. I'll just wait until we get... Wait a minute, I think I better check. But wait until we pass this viaduct. For the road viaduct, not the railway viaduct. Ah, here it is. Yet again. Oh, I've got some important notifications on my iPad for Gmail. Oh, don't want to stop too early. Okay, nice and gentle. Will I make it in there in one piece? Fingers crossed, eh? Whew. I made it without even a scratch. Let's see here, I need to set up the points for Ropley. Huh, I think we've already configured. Just follow my check, just to be sure. Here we go, and next stop is Ropley, and finally Alsford, which is where our journey will end. Let's hope everything goes well, eh? Oh yeah, we need the brakes for this as we're going downhill. Here we go. Now we're coasting downhill. I won't have to use the regulator. Although I still need to use the train brakes though, to control our speed. Again, we really don't want a runaway train. which is the last option we need. It's just like our journey up to Alton. We have to control our speed as we're descending. You know, we're descending downhill. Just like what I'm doing right now. I don't want to approach Watercress station at too fast a speed for gliding it at 10 miles per hour. Whereas if I'm driving steam trains on the main line, I have to approach the station to about 30 miles per hour, just like I do on the modern train, before gliding into a smooth, gentle stop. Whoa! Thank goodness I got to that in time, otherwise the brakes will be applied. Sorry for being quiet, I really need to concentrate. it is. You can see Wobbly in the distance. And soon we'll pass the stored locomotives that we saw earlier. Thought I'd sound the whistle again to let people know that I'm coming in. It's up to figure out how to control his speed as we approach Wobbly from Alton. I'm operating this as a one-train timetable, by the way, on the mid-hands. Usually like 2 or 3 trains per timetable. There they are again, Bittern and the Black 5 and 73096. The cruddy diesel. Oh yeah, unique fact about... Oh yeah, I got... My iPad has got 10% of battery remaining, but it should be it should last long enough for me anyway. Oh, you know Oliver Bullitt, who designed the Light Pacifics and the Merchant Navies? Well, he in fact used to be Grizzly's assistant on the London Northeastern Railway. Well, he designed the side balances for all of the A4s. You like the famous one of all, the record holder Mallard. I think if I take the gamble that I have a little bit of battery left on my iPad Pro until we get to Alsford. There's 92212 again, and Cheltenham, N257 Squadron. Go. Need to glide her into Wobbly Station, the same platform where we came in earlier. Oh, gee, I don't know why I keep burping. There we go, that should be enough. Let's have one last look at the engines again. Yeah, again that's 257 Squadron. And if you want to see that, you might need to go to the Swanage Railway. Or for those who already live there, then they may get a chance to see it in action. There's 92212 again. Isn't she magnificent? She kind of reminds me of Evening Star, which is the same class as this one. And again, that's what Laserjet drove in real life. Well, you know he did a video of that. I mean, if you want to see that, then go ahead and check out his channel. He's got lots of amazing train simulator videos on that, as well as doing live streams. Now let's see if we can configure our approach into Alsford, which is not that far off from Wobbly. It seems we are already departed from platform 1. I'll go with platform 2 this time. Oh yeah, just like again, just like on the approach to Alton and Ropley earlier, we have to control our speed when going downhill. Just like we may remember on my North Yorkshire Moors non-stop Gala videos with Flying Scotsman and using up South Africa. I mean, come on, how often do I drive an A4 locomotive on the North Yorkshire Moors? Eh? I think I need to control my speed as we get into Alresford Station. I bet you won't get this off of the Great Western Castle. Yeah, we're nearly coming into Alresford, which means that's the end of our journey. There's RAF 100 live stream. I think the Battle of Britain's engines were named after like squadrons and probably aircraft of the RAF. Oh no, yeah. As far as you know, sister locomotive Tangamere was like taken to this line for an overhaul until they moved it up to like Bury on the East Lancashire Railway. Here we go, we're nearly coming into Alresford. I think I need a rest after this. Now, in case you've already noticed, I have the automatic fireman turned on, which actually, you know, saves me from doing all the firing and the watering at the same time. Well, I only turn it off when I'm driving the Union Pacific 844. You know, on like American routes, say like the San Francisco line, or say the Soldier Summit line, or the line between Cheyenne and Laramie in Wyoming. You know, the Sherman Hill route in the United States. Nearly there now. So close to the end of our journey. Made it back there without even a scratch. Let's see how many coaches we can fit in. Okay, nearly got it. Come on, baby, you can do it. I think this should be enough. Oh, finally! Look at that, eh? Alsford to Alton and then back again, eh? All in one take! Look at that, you can see the billboard up there. It says, "You're approaching the strong country." Oh, we don't often get billboards here in the UK. Often get them in different parts of the world. Say like China and Spain, and also America. I mean, just last year I've seen those billboards when I was in... I've also seen billboards when I was in Ibiza. There's that track where steam engines come in via low loader, just like what we saw in Met Stadium 4 marks. Ugh. Just a shame no one's going to get the opportunity to go on the footplate in this position. Let me have another look at 80150 and Sir Frederick Pyle again. You can see here, this is the rebuild. That's the engine in its rebuilt form. Well, the cab here was unchanged when they were rebuilt in this form. Mind you, if we zoom out a bit, you can tell the difference between Sir Frederick Pyle and 92 Squadron. Well, 92 Squadron on my right is the unrebuilt, whereas Sir Frederick Pyle over there is the rebuilt version. I mean, I know all the merchant navies were rebuilt, but the West Countries and Battle of Britain, well, 50 of them stayed in the original shape, because I think there wasn't enough time to rebuild all of them due to the modernization plans. Well, you know, British Railways were planning to dispose of this. They were planning to dispose steam locomotives in favor of diesel and electric trains. So anyway, I thought I'll end the live stream here. What a gala that was, eh? But hey, I will continue. I will see you all next time. I'll see you all next time anyway. And so until then, bye.